everyone, it's Siobhan here. Today's hair idea is something that I'm calling the chain link braid, and it was inspired by a picture that I saw on a girlfriend's Facebook page. Actually, you guys might know my girlfriend Arrow Odin. She has a YouTube channel here on YouTube. I was about to say on Facebook. Anyway, if you're not subscribed to her, you should definitely check her out. I will have a link to her underneath in the information bar below, and I will also have a link to the original photograph. And what I can say about the actual hairstyle, it was something that I think might have been taken at some sort of fashion show, and the fashion show was inspired by Game of Thrones. Not really 100% sure about all of that, didn't actually read the article that was accompanying the picture, but yeah, I figured I would give it a shake, and hope you guys like the video. Before you start, there's a couple of things that you're going to need. A hairbrush and a comb, just in case. Obviously some bobby pins, some elastics. You're definitely going to want like some sort of handheld mirror so that you can check like what you're doing in the back. Especially like when I get to about here on my head with the braid, I can usually use my hands to see where I'm going, but like sometimes I get the strands all conjumbled. And then this is optional, just in case you guys might want this. These are like little style clippy things. I bought them in my local drugstore, and they are great because they will hold your hair in certain places on your head if you should need them, if you need like an extra hand and you don't have one, obviously, so you can use these. And the other optional thing is if you have like fine hair, kind of like me, because this is a two-stranded knot, and so the knots sometimes will just slip out of my hair. So one of the things that I do is I try to add some like sticky texture to it, and I am using Got2B's Defiant Pomade, and this is kind of what it looks like. I like this a lot. It looks like Jello, and it smells really good. So you can use hairspray, you can use a pomade or hair wax. It's really helpful in just like kind of smoothing down flyaways in general and just keeping things a little bit more tight and neat when you're doing a braid like this. I used my hair dryer today to make my hair pretty straight, that way you can see all of the details in the braid. And I made a center part, and with my comb I am going to continue this part down the center of my head because I'm going to be making two pigtails. And I'm working on my right side first, so I'm going to just tie the left side off. First thing first, I'm going to add some pomade to the section that I'll be working with. And to do that, you just take like a tiny little bit. For me, a little bit of this goes a long way, so just a little, and I'm going to put it in my hands and just kind of run it through like the length of my hair. I am going to smooth some of these flyaways here, at the crown of my head down. You want to comb it through so you can already see the difference. Like I have these little, like I guess new growth here on this side, and you can see that this side is a little bit more smooth. Off, I'm taking a piece here at the front, and I'm going to divide it in two, and this is kind of up to you. You can either cross the left over the right, or the right over the left, or the left under the right, and the right under the left, but whatever pattern you choose, stick to that pattern. Don't like switch it up. You want to keep the same thing going the length of this braid. So I am actually going to take, I know it's hard to see, this is my left and my right, and I'm going to take my left, go under and over, and make a knot. So now I've got two pieces of hair left over from the knot. I'm just going to let them hang. For some of you, again, like maybe the paste won't work, like the hair paste, so you might want to stick a bobby pin in there just to keep the knot in place, because I have to let it go. So I've got one strand of hair here and one strand here. I'm going to call them kind of like they're like the tails of the knots, and I'm making another one right here. Again, I'm taking my left, crossing it under my right, and over. There's my second knot, and I'm going to let the tails go. Now I'm going to make another one. This is my third, and this is where the pattern sort of begins. Before I make the knot, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these two tails from the first knot into the third knot, skipping this one. And that's actually the pattern, is you are adding the hair in every other knot. And what you want to do is you want to take the hair and you want to bring it under. See the strand? See how it's hanging down? You want to bring it under the strand from the second knot. Add it in. So again, here are my two first knots, and I'm taking the first strand to add into the third, but I want it to go under. Oops, this piece doesn't belong. And now I'm gonna make the knot that I've been doing, which is left, under, right, and then through. And there is the beginning of the pattern. So I'm gonna let that go. Now I'm going to make my fourth set. So I'm gonna grab some hair. I hope this is making sense. I'm dividing it in two. And now I'm gonna add the strands from the second knot. So as I said, you're sort of skipping every other knot, adding these strands in. And you're always, when you're adding it, you're always going under the strand here. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So, there we go. So it goes under. You can tighten along the way if you want. And again, this is why I say that these kind of clips come into place if you want to just hold like strands. My hair's pretty good. It's sort of staying where I want it to right now. But like I said, when I get to about here, I get a little confused and I need the mirror and whatever extra help I can get. Just going to go back and tug on things a little bit to make them appear a little bit more even. So here we go again. Start at the top and take a section of hair. So this is my left side. I'm dividing the hair in two. And I'm going to stick with the pattern that I've used on this side. I'm going to take my left strand, fold it under my right, and make a knot. So that is what I'm gonna do. Here's my first knot. Now I'm gonna let the tails hang down. Build my second knot right behind it. It's really important to keep your pattern. So taking my left strand, folding it under and over the right. Letting them hang. My third section, this is when I began to add the tails in. So remember, you add the tails in every other knot. So I've got my third section here, and I'm going to take the tails from the first knot. And I'm going to weave them under the tails of the second. So that's what creates the little loops. There we go. And now that I have that done, I'm just going to make my normal knot. At any given point, you're going to have 3 sections of knots going on at the same time, and you are going to be adding the tails in from the top, the front knots. And remember, it's important to fold them under the tails of the second knot. I like pigtails, but at this point in my life, they feel a little bit young on me, so I just took the 2 ends that were hanging down, I twisted them together, and I made this sort of simple lazy bun, and I used a few small pins just to hold it up. And I actually like it a whole lot, because there's so much detail here with these chain link braids, and then this is so simple. So I kind of like the contradiction of the simple and complicated together. Although with this loose hair at the bottom, you could make all kinds of things like a fishtail or a 3-strand braid or a 4 or 5, and then pin it up in whatever way that you want to. Or you can just wear the pigtails too, because that's cute also. Yeah, I think that's it. One more look. I really do like this a lot, although when you get to about here, it is kind of a pain in the ass, just because you can't really see, but that's why the mirror is great, and practice, 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 because if I can do it, you can do it. And I hope you liked my video, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!